Salvete discepoli. So this video will be about identifying the gender of words in the third declension. So before we jump into that topic, a little bit about identifying the gender of words in the first two declensions that we've seen. And that's pretty easy. The first declension, the a, is pretty much made up of feminine words, all feminine words. There are rare few exceptions to that rule, and that is any word that refers to a person, like nauta, which is usually a male, in which case that word is a masculine word, because if the word refers to a person who has an actual biological gender, then the word is the gender that matches that biological gender. So it'd be either male or female. So like the word for mother, for example, that's a third declension word, will always be it will be a feminine word, and we don't have to worry about what it ends in. Even if what it ends in might suggest it's something else, because it's referring to a female person, it's feminine. It's a feminine word. And so nauta is the only word that we've seen in Henley that's a first declension word that's not feminine, but there are a few others. Agricola is farmer. I think there's a couple more. They're not coming to me at the moment. But and then in the second declension, it's made of two parts. There's the second declension masculine, and there's the second declension neuters. And so the reason they're named that is because the words that belong to the second declension masculine are masculine. The words that belong to the second declension neuter are neuter words. And those are the three categories that there are. Those are the three genders of words that there are in Latin. Now, the third declension has words of all genders, of all three genders in them. But you can tell what gender they are, and you'll be able to after this lesson. Now, right now, we can't really do anything with that information. When we know the gender of a word, there's nothing really for us to do with that information yet, but there will be something for us to do with that information in the next unit, which is on adjectives. So for right now, as we work our way through the declensions, it's just enough to know that we need to be able to identify, yep, that's a masculine word. Oh, that's a feminine word. In preparation for us being in that unit. Okay, so this is actually how the third declension begins. Gender in the third declension, right on this page, on page 35 in our book. Nouns in the third declension may be masculine, feminine, or neuter. We shall study the masculine and the feminine nouns first. You can tell whether a noun is masculine or feminine from the rules given in the grammar book. That's this book. And it's numbers 46 through 52. So let's give that a look. Numbers 46 through 52. And they are right here on this page. Now, that doesn't mean page 46 through 52. That would be a lot of rules. No, numbers 46 through 52. They're on page 9 here. We're not going to actually go very far in this book. So here we are at whatever point in the year you're watching this, and we're on page 9 in the book. So we're not going to go terribly far through this book, but that's because there are all these rules, and you can list many rules on a page. So 46 through 52. So here are the rules, which you'll need to know. You'll need to know them now lightly. You'll need to really be good at them in the adjective unit. Okay, 46. Nouns naming individual male persons are masculine. And so miles militis means soldier. It would therefore be a masculine word because soldiers, by and large, were males. 47. Nouns naming individual female persons are feminine, like mater matris. There are some other rules we're about to learn that might tell you mater matris that might tell you mater matris is a masculine word. But because it means mother, it can't be a masculine word. It has to be a feminine word. Rule number 48 says, note that these two rules, the ones we just read, should always be applied before the next handful of rules. Thus, miles would be feminine by the Sachs rule. We're about to read about the Sachs rule. You might think miles would be feminine, but rule number 46, the one that says nouns naming individual male persons are masculine, that should be applied first. And so hence, miles is a masculine word. So basically all it's saying is 46 and 47 trump this next chunk of rules, okay? So when a noun names a thing, right, and not a person, how do we know the gender of those words? That's what these rules are for, okay? And here's the first one. The first one is called the error rule. Nouns ending in ER or in OR, that's where we get error from, those are masculine words. So just think boys make errors. I don't know. And so here's an example. Imperator, imperatoris. Imperator, imperatoris. Ends in, the nominative ends in OR. And so when it says nouns ending in ER or OR, it's talking about the nominative, okay? Just so we're clear. Nouns whose nominative singular form ends in ER or OR. That's masculine. So actually, imperator is naming a male person. So even if it didn't end in OR, it would still be masculine. Let's see if there are any words that we were given. Any ER or OR words? Well, just imperator. All right. Let's take a look at the next one. Nouns ending in the letter S, the letter O, or the letter X. They are all feminine, and that is called the Sachs rule, ending in S, O, or X. The way that we can remember that is that if you look at the two uniform types of Chesterton Academy, the male uniform and the female uniform, it's the female uniform where you can see their socks. And so the Sachs rule, when you hear the Sachs rule, think feminine, okay? And so let's see what words have nominatives that end in SOX that we would know are feminine. Lex legis, that's a feminine word because it ends in X. Rex regis, Rex ends in X, but wait, Rex means king. It's referring to a male. It's actually masculine. So you see how that works? Those first two rules trump the next set of rules. Dux ducis, it means leader. Again, that one's going to be masculine, even though the Sachs rule might tell you otherwise. Okay. Lux lucis, that means light. That is lux lucis is a feminine word. Homo hominis means man. Homo ends in O. It would be feminine because of the Sachs rule, but well, it means man. So, and it actually means mankind, but guess what? It's still masculine. So, so that's that. Imperator, imperatoris refers to a man. Veritas, veritatis. The nominative there ends in S. It would be feminine, and that is what it is. It's a feminine word. So that's how these rules work. I'll go back and show you the last few rules too. All right. Let's see. And the Lancet rule. Nouns ending in L, A, N, C, E, or T, which spell Lancet, are neuter words. And we don't have any neuter words that show up in our vocab yet, but we will, so these rules will come back shortly when we get just a little further down the road, okay? And of course, there's always some exceptions, but of the masculine gender are words in os or nis or guis or cis. And again, these don't come up. I wouldn't worry at all about these rules, okay? Typically, if they don't follow these big rules, if you learn a word in your vocab that you're responsible for knowing and they don't follow these big rules, the book will say, hey, alert, this is a feminine word actually, or hey, alert, this is a neuter word. So, okay, let's go back to these, and let's do a little bit of exercise 31 in this video. We're going to do a couple different things. This says tell what forms these are, and then also translate them. We're going to do an additional thing. We're going to determine their gender as well. Okay, so legibus. Legibus, you can't tell from legibus what the gender is. You actually have to go back and think of what's the nominative. So we have to think of lex legis, lex legis. When we see legibus, we want to go back and think lex legis, the dictionary form. And we actually, in particular, want to think of lex. Lex doesn't refer to a person. It ends in x. That means it's part of the Sox rule. That means it's a feminine word. So legibus is a feminine word. I know there was a lot of steps in order to get there, but did you see how I did that? All right, let's do the next one. Regum. Regum, I want us to think of rex regis. That's referring to a king. I don't have to worry about the Sox or the error or the lancet rule. It's a masculine word. Okay, let's determine the genders first. Let's just do that verbally in the last part of this video, and then we'll determine what forms they are and translate them. Okay, imperator, imperatori, imperator, imperatores. This form is imperatori. So this looks like a emperor. That's obviously a masculine word. Okay, ducum. Okay, ducum. I want to think back to dux, ducis. Dux, ducis means leader. And so that's referring to a man. It's a masculine word. Luce. We want to think back to lux lucis. Lux ends in X. The Sox rule, that tells us it's female, it's feminine. Okay, and we'll just finish up this column here. Veritati. So veritat is the stem, and that E is the dative ending, right? So veritatis is the genitive. Veritas, veritatis. That's what we want to be thinking of. We want to always go back to veritas, veritatis. And veritas ends in S, Sox rule, feminine. So a lot of these words are feminine or they're masculine because they refer to an actual person. All right, on number 9, let's determine the forms. I think by this point we're probably pretty good at knowing the gender. Let's determine the forms and then translate them. Homo. So there is no O ending. So we know that homo is a nominative already. So that's nominative singular, and it means man. So man as in mankind. There's another word for a man who's a male. That's vir, right? Imperator, imperatorum. No, that's emperor, but it has the orum ending. And now this orum ending, you might think is, you might recognize that as genitive plural, but it's actually, this or part is actually part of the stem. Remember, imperator is the stem. So really the ending on imperatorum is just the but it is genitive plural. It's just the orum isn't the ending now. Now it's just the that's the ending. And so genitive plural, so that means of the emperors. So the word imperatora means of the emperors. Ducibus, so I recognize leader in the stem, but it has ibus. So that means I have to choose. Okay, it's either dative plural or it's ablative plural. If it's dative plural, if I were to choose the dative plural, that means to the leaders, or it means for the leaders. Hominum. So there's man, as in mankind at the beginning. There's the ending, the same ending that was up here, hominum, and that's genitive plural, so that means of the men. Veritas, veritatis is the dictionary form for truth. I can tell that's an accusative ending now, and it's truth. And so the meaning is just the truth. It's for when you verb the truth, when somebody does something to the truth, when somebody sees the truth, or when someone knows the truth, or when somebody has the truth. Whenever somebody verbs the truth, that's the form of truth that we use. Regem, there is, and don't get the M's confused with the right? There's an accusative singular ending, so this means the king, like somebody kills the king, or somebody sees the king, or somebody hates the king. And then same ending, an accusative ending, but it's the emperor instead of the king, when somebody verbs the emperor. So these are both accusative singular. All right. So that is a little bit about how to find gender. What we could do is flip the page and take a look at the next set of words and just end this video with seeing what the genders of those words are. Caesar, Caesaris, that means Caesar, that's an actual male, so it's masculine. Salus, Salutis means safety, welfare, or salvation. So it doesn't have a biological gender, so we're going to refer to those, the error, socks and lancet rule. S tells us that it's a feminine word, and vox, vocis means voice, also a feminine word because of the socks rule. All right. Even as we keep seeing other third declension words, we're going to take time to pause and make sure that we can determine and review the rules for what the genders are, and then determine what their genders are. All right. Thanks for watching.